when it comes to narcissistic people, you often find once out of the relationship, and this is one of the most deceptive things about it all that takes a lot of time to come to terms with, is that the narcissist is leading a double life. And it's, how did you not notice? How did you not see that they were fooling so many people? When it comes to a narcissistic person, they are usually very grandiose people. So they can have that charismatic charm, make everybody laugh. They can be slimy. They can be the victim. They can morph into many different characters, many different roles to get the desired outcome, to get the desired attention that they believe that they're entitled to. They have that kind of superiority complex where they believe that they are special and that they are better than others. They live in a fantasy world, and in one sense they kind of create that fantasy world within the world in which they live. And they kind of play out different lives within their one life as they're telling different people different stories to get what they need from those individuals that they are lying to. They get a kick out of causing intrigue, out of knowing things that other people don't know. They enjoy exploiting people, and they lack the empathy to care for how their behaviour affects those around them. They just care about how people might perceive them if people were to find out about them. And so when it comes to a narcissistic person, you can have the garden variety that goes around cheating, moving from family to family. And they never tend to develop a personality of their own as such. There might be characteristic traits that they take with them, although those are usually based around the disorder within itself. So they kind of take some characteristics with them. However, they borrow other people's personalities. Whoever they meet, they morph into the person that's going to please the person that they're trying to exploit. So they borrow the dreams off others. They borrow the hopes off others. And they sell these things, they repackage them to look really, really enticing, to tempt people into believing in the narcissist, believing the narcissist is the victim, believing the narcissist is genuine, tempting people to help the narcissist out, to be there for the narcissistic person. However, none of these personalities are actually their own personalities. They're borrowed personalities, borrowed dreams, which is often why when their world begins to crumble and people begin to find out the narcissist isn't who they sold themselves to be, they tend to then move on to somebody unaware of their behaviour. And they live many double lives, from the stories they're telling their families, to the stories they're telling their friends, to the stories they're telling their work colleagues. These are all very different, and they're usually keeping a lot of secrets, which they enjoy getting that thrill of getting away with things. It's only for a moment now and again when they can potentially morph a little bit too much into the role that they're playing, that for a moment they might start to question things, but something almost blocks them. That lack of remorse, I suppose, almost blocks them. That lack of guilt blocks them. They kind of feel that moment of shame of perhaps I shouldn't be doing this. And then they quickly find a reason as to why they can justify their behaviour and carry on with their behaviour. So you can have a very, very nice family person, narcissist, male or female. You can have what seemingly looks like a very nice home, nice children, nice partner, and good career, and everything looks like it's working well for them. However, that narcissistic person in the background is doing some of the most horrific, sick and twisted stuff. They are cheating on their partners. They are cold and cruel to their children. They are exploiting their work colleagues. They're doing all they can to get their needs met. However, they're telling different people different stories and different scenarios about their life. So, one, they don't get caught out, and two, so that people either admire them or sympathise with them. So they can be cheating on their spouse, yet they'll be telling the person who they are cheating with just how poorly their spouse treats them, which inevitably is usually exactly how the narcissistic person is actually treating their spouse, but they're gaining that attention from elsewhere. They can be trying to hook up with their best friend's spouse. They'll be telling everybody just how amazing this best friend is. However, because they're envious of what that best friend has got, even though they've got something similar, they're going to seek to take it from that best friend, to ruin it for that best friend. Yeah, they're going to play the victim. They're always going to play the victim. It's not going to be their fault. It's going to be the friend's spouse's fault. They're going to find somebody else to blame and shame so that they don't have to feel that shame within themselves. You can have a retired narcissistic person that has gone through their lives exploiting and deceiving people to the point where they've not got many people left within their lives. Their own family can see through them and is no longer that interested in them, and they will and have always put other people before their family. However, now they're going to use that, claiming to anybody that will listen that their family is too busy living their own life, that their family don't want anything to do with them, because people will give them that sympathetic attention because they don't know the history behind that family dynamics. They can have a home, and on the outside, on the face of that home, which the world can see, it's done up very nice. It looks very well. It looks very good. However, a bit like a narcissist and who they are as a person, with the front they put on, inside the home is going to rack and ruin. It's not looked after. Not that anybody's going to see this, because nobody's allowed to visit, not even their own children or their own grandchildren. So nobody can see what's happening on the inside, because nobody's allowed to get close enough to see what's happening on the inside of that narcissistic person. So the outside, they will be selling a character to whoever they are with, depending on what they need from that person. So they can be a very wealthy narcissistic person, however, they're unwilling to splash their cash. So they will splash it on the front of the house to look good. On the inside, they will not. They can be very neglectful to their spouse, not providing enough. You kind of have a sort of, depending on the generation you're born into, you kind of have a unwritten rule or a deal of how marriage and partnership kind of goes, whether one of you works, both of you work, you both take care of the children, one of you stays at home and takes care of the children. But each person plays their role and puts their part into it. With a narcissistic person, they believe they put everything into it and their spouse took everything from them. So they can be extremely neglectful. They can fail to provide the food that they once promised to provide. They can fail to provide adequate warmth that they once promised to provide. However, they will find a way to play the victim. To the outside world, looks like a nice family unit. They can perhaps help out at a charity. However, the way they got the foot in the door at that charity is by playing the homeless woe is me victim to gain sympathetic attention. to get the free food that they can't be bothered to provide for their spouse at home. So they're a very well-off person, yeah, all of a sudden they're going to play the routine of the homeless person to exploit people, to get free things from people. And then to look good, they're going to start trying to help out. And also to get more free things that they can afford for themselves, things that they could afford to give to the homeless, to help the homeless. But they don't want to help the homeless. They believe the homeless deserve what they had coming to them. They want to take from the homeless to provide for themselves. So they will start helping out so that they can get a key to the door to the charity, so that they can start taking free stuff from the charity to put on their own backs, because they are looking to exploit people. Yet, to those who do know the narcissistic person, they will be claiming about how they've found charity work so meaningful and so nice, and they enjoy helping those who are suffering. They enjoy helping those who are worse than themselves. And their friends and neighbours might offer to give them things to help out, to which the narcissistic person will keep for themselves, because they are selling different people, different stories to get the desired attention that narcissistic person requires. They will happily drop their own family if there's something free on offer, if there's something they can exploit out of somebody else, if they've got a better offer. So they will drop their own family, yet they will be telling those people they've dropped the family for that their family isn't interested in them, doesn't care about them. And every now and again, that reality hits them. And it hits them hard. And it gets them to a point where they question whether they've played the character that well, that they're turning into the character that they're playing. And it's not that they don't like who they are as a person, they don't like the character that they've turned into, which is why they will then remove themselves from that environment and put themselves in another environment so that they can create a whole new character that they enjoy playing, because they got a bit too involved with the older character that they were once playing. However, even when for a moment it looks like they can almost see the pain they've caused somebody else, they can almost see how their behaviour is wrong, they don't see. Something cuts it off. Something stops them from actually seeing reality in its entirety. Whether it's their lack of empathy, whether it's their inability to feel things such as guilt because they've blamed and shamed somebody else and passed it over to someone else, whether they've managed to rationalise and justify why it's okay for them to behave in that way, something almost stops them from recognising and changing. They just change character. If people are getting too close to realising what the narcissistic person is really up to, they just change the people that they are around, and they change their character to serve the new people. They borrow the personalities of the new people. They tell those around them different stories about themselves to get the desired outcome that narcissistic person leads. They live many double lives, which hurts those around them when those around them find it out, because those around them are the ones left feeling stupid and how did I not see this? How did I not know this person was doing this right under my nose? And that's because narcissistic people are incredibly deceptive people. It's very difficult to see what someone is hiding from you while lying to you and selling you a character of who you would like them to be, or a character where they know they're getting the attention that they need, but not who they truly are. You cannot see what people are hiding from you. And narcissistic people get a thrill out of hiding things. They get a thrill out of exploiting people. They get a thrill out of hurting people. And they remove any feelings of guilt by blaming the person that they deceived, by claiming it's the other person's fault for being so stupid, when they weren't stupid. They were being deceived. They were being lied to. That's the narcissistic person's fault. Narcissistic people lead many lives to meet a need of their own because they're not interested in the needs of others. They're envious of what other people have. They're holding on to so many grudges for things that they did to others, and they're then seeking to punish the world for things that aren't even the world's fault. If anyone has any thoughts on this video, please add those into the comments. Thank you very much to all the returning subscribers and your continued support with the channel. It's greatly appreciated. If you are new to the channel, I'm Elizabeth Shaw. This channel is all about narcissistic behaviour to give you more understanding of the people you might be dealing with within your life, how to handle yourself around those people if you cannot go no contact, and different methods to find what works for you to help you understand and overcome narcissistic and emotional abuse. If you do find the information helpful on the channel, please do subscribe. If you are looking for further help and support in understanding and overcoming narcissistic and emotional abuse, I do have several online guides available, and those teachable links are in the video description. If you are looking for someone to speak to, I have partnered with BetterHelp, and their sponsored link is also in the video description. Go out there and create the day that you deserve, because you do deserve to have an amazing day. Bye.